I would really like to know about if you could introduce yourself and give us a glimpse of what your day looks like in your profile.
Surely. Okay. So I am Poulami Sarkar. I have been working in the analytics domain starting from 2015, right? So 2015 till now has been my journey in analytics domain. However, the interesting part of my journey is that I did not really start as a statistician. So I was a MBA graduate before that, right? So my journey is very different from if you talk to other data scientists. I would say my journey is very, very typical. It's very different from others because what ended up happening was I did a computer science graduation, B.Tech in computer science. This is back in 2009 that I graduated. So it's way, way long back. So after that, what happens is generally what people do is they get a campus placement, right? I got a campus placement. I got placed in two companies, Infosys and Wipro. So I joined with Infosys because Infosys has a very good training program. So there I worked for around 3 years, starting 2010 till 2013. I worked there, and it was core software development. It was core Java, RDBMS, and everything technical that was there. Then I actually got a little bored of it. I thought that, you know what happens when you're a fresher and you're getting into an engineering fresher's job. Um, First of all, there is not much incentive to that. I would say it in a very blunt terms. It's not much giving, I would say. And second thing is, if you want to be involved in your job, an engineering fresher's job is not as involving. So you would be given a part of your task and you will be asked to complete it. So let's say one module of the whole software you will be given, and that you have to complete. Now you're not involved in designing, you're not involved in business discussions, you don't really know what kind of impact this is going to make in the world, right? So I was working for a banking client and I was making something really interesting according to my leaders. I was making something really interesting, but for me, I wanted more. I wanted to understand what kind of impacts it is making, what is the kind of ROI, how is it helping people, what value is it generating. So that is where I came up with this idea of getting into business management and MBA, so that I get to be a decision maker. I get to see what kind of impact is being made through work. And that is where I started preparing for CAT. And then I got into an MBA college. I did my MBA. My MBA was in marketing and operations. So once that was completed, again I was getting into the same kind of situation, right? I was looking for jobs, and then campus placement happened, and luckily I got into a market research role here. So the market research role was with a huge media giant. Okay. So the media giant is basically the publisher for the Time magazine that is there in US. They were my recruiter. So I started with them, and my job was basically to do analysis of their retail sales. So let's say in stores like Kroger and Walmart. So Kroger and Walmart are stores similar to what we have here, like let's say super specialty stores that we have here, right?
DMart.
It's like that.
Mm, mm,
Yes. So my job was basically to check what kind of promotions on the magazines we should be putting. Let's say you get promotions like um, one free with another, buy one get two free kind of. And then offers are there, and offers around Christmas, and offers around Thanksgiving, those kind of things you get. So my job was to understand what kind of ROI is generated from what marketing efforts, and then recommend that what more can we do in that situation. So that was a very interesting job for me because being a marketing graduate, I got the flavor of both. So people who are from a business background, they would also relate to this. There are 5 P's of marketing, and this was related to promotion and pricing both. And more than that, it also opened doors for me to the analytics world in 2015, wherein at that point of time, it was very, very new. So we were working on Excel sheets. So as you said that whatever we learn, we should actually learn from the very, very basics. So I know people who belong to engineering backgrounds, but they are really great coders, right? They are data scientists, really great coders. But the problem is when it comes to doing a quick check on the data. Let's say if something looks off and you want to do a quick check on the data, then I think Excel sheets are incredibly helpful. So if you know, and if you know your way around the Excel sheets, it's really helpful. So I got that opportunity wherein I worked really to a great extent. I would say around 6 months to 1 year, my work was basically on Excel sheets. It was majorly slicing and dicing data, creating pivots, analyzing everything that a data analyst would do. So I know that many of us might not understand really the difference between data analyst and data scientist. So data analyst is someone who needs to, gather insights from what data we have. And data scientists is one level up wherein you want to create a model out of that, do some statistics on that. So my job was basically to do some descriptive analytics, create some charts, make some insights out of that. Now I did that, but then I realized that I am really good at coding as well, because I have been trained for such a long time, and I have worked 3 years in creating softwares, so I'm really good at coding. Now then is when I realized that I can actually use that skill as well here. Instead of using Excel it only, we can probably make some generic algorithms using a programming language. And at that point of time, the only programming language we had access to and which was not licensed was R. R was the language. So then I started using R. Whatever I was actually doing on Excel sheets, I transferred everything to R. And I was using more and more R to make everything automated. So that it's basically because I wanted to free up my bandwidth. I wanted to do more with my bandwidth. I would just run stuff through R and it will give me the desired results and I'll just check it. So that's done. Now, interestingly, in a few years' time, I started 2015, right? So 2016, end of 2016, there was elections in US. And Time being the magazine there, right? The magazine there, they had to cover elections, and it was a huge deal because Donald Trump was there, right? Donald Trump was contesting. So this was a huge opportunity to me because I had an idea then. I wanted to tie up social media content to whatever is happening on the ground. So whatever retail sales are happening, I wanted to tie it up to the sentiments of the Twitter, to social media. LinkedIn was not accessible. Twitter was the only one social media which was at that point of time accessible to us to extract data and do some analysis. This was 2016. So all those hard hard regulations around not using without an API and token limit, rate limit, those things were not
Was
like
there.
still,
Hmm.
yeah, it was not still there. It was open. So basically, you could have, if you have access to the API of Twitter, you could actually extract data. And that really opened up a lot more avenues. So this was the first NLP project that I did in my career, wherein I extracted the tweets regarding Donald Trump. And I did a sentiment analysis and I tied up that score of sentiment analysis with the retail sales of magazines. So let's say I have a magazine which has cover story on Donald Trump, and from Twitter I know that what are the major things that people are talking about in a positive and negative manner. And sometimes, when people are talking very, very passionately, about something, and passionately as well as negative, in negative sense, that also
Right.
helps in marketing. So it's not just a positive emotion, it's negative as well. So it basically helped me from just looking at the promotions and the ROI to moving up to a place where I could recommend the editors. I could get into the editorial room and recommend them that, okay, these are the topics that would sell.
Right.
And if you don't, and at that, you know what, analytics is something that unless someone sees it happen on the ground, unless someone sees the results, they won't believe it.
Hmm.
So it's almost like spotting a ghost. Unless you see it, it won't happen. By the way, I don't believe in ghosts. But so it's like that. You have to experience it. And people are very skeptical about it. Even today, when Gen AI has come up, people are extremely skeptical about everything. So now, when I recommended that, okay, these are the sentiments, these are the kind of stories you should be publishing, obviously they were skeptical about this. So what they ended up doing is they took a risk. They did an A/B analysis on that, and it ended up boosting the sales. So they did not really go for a cover story, but they had similar kind of content inside to the recommended ones. And at one point, we could see stuff like people are interested in, who will be the cabinet members of Donald Trump. So these kind of specific informations you get when you actually analyze huge amount of data. Otherwise, you just know that is the general understanding of the topic positive or negative. But unless you do very deep analysis of it, you will not know what are the topics that are coming out. So I did something called topic analysis on the tweets to find out these kind of things, and that came out well, and that gave me some confidence that, okay, NLP is something that could be used. And even at that point of time, deep learning was not a thing, and everything was just starting off, right? So what I did was just bag of words. So I took bag of words, and there was topic analysis, the statistical method of something called latent Dirichlet allocation. So this is not deep learning. This is extremely statistical algorithm, probability based. So we did that, and it worked out. And that is where I got the confidence. Okay, this is something that I want to pursue, and this is also making some impact on a large scale. And I can see that. I can see the sales number going up. I can see that the people are interested in something. And then I got to understand what kind of effect media can have on views of people, and vice versa, right? Unless people understand something and people want something, you can't really give it to them. So it's a vice versa relationship. So that was the first job that I had, and that really opened up a lot of doors for me. So it started with Excels, it went on to NLP, and it was you would probably think at this point that it escalated really fast, but you have to if you think back on this, if I think back on this, I realized that it was kind of connecting the dots. So because I had that coding experience, I could actually apply it here, and I could come up with more things. So then the world evolved, and I had to evolve with it, right? So in my next jobs, what I went through is I kept on getting a flavor of how things are changing. So when I was a software developer, there was no cloud, there was no no SQL databases were not there, right? So it was just structured data that was available, tables that were available. But now in 2016, 17, 18, suddenly what happened was all the companies, everybody was adopting cloud platforms. And this was very new to me again. So I had to scale up there. So what generally happens is people talk a lot about scaling up in the job. It is possible. It is definitely something to consider to scale up on the job. Okay, let's jump into this and I'll scale up in the job. That happens. But the problem is you don't really get a chance to gather knowledge in depth. You might have the width of it, but you will not gather it in depth. So in those days, what I had to do is I had to stretch a lot. So, mind you, this is not data science work at all. This is cloud, something altogether different. But unless you are well equipped with the cloud services, you will not be able to even work with data science,
Correct.
because everything in the world is working on cloud. And I actually had some idea of big data. I worked on Hadoop a little bit, but cloud platforms was very new to me. The platform that I started with was GCP. So in my next job, what I got exposed to was GCP, and it was again very new. Vertex AI services were coming in, and I was like, okay, this is something new. And the thing is, I think anybody who is trying to get into the field, they need to have this mindset of continuously learning new things,
Correct.
because it's evolving very very fast. So
And I think, and I mean, my point of view here is, I don't think this is very specific to data science. This evolution is actually for every industry. Every
true.
industry, even if technology, operations, admin, backend, anything
Hmm.
will, I mean, if you want to stay sustainable or relatable to the to your existing job, or you want to stay sustainable in the market, you have to evolve along with the evolution that is happening. I think that
That
is
is very
absolutely
true. Yes.